Sometimes the truth is right in front of you, and you still don't see it. When it comes to relationships, especially dealing with women, men often feel like they are navigating unknown territory. You don't really understand what's happening. You don't fully see what's going on, and many times you don't even want to see. So, here is today's question. What didn't you want to see in your relationships? Welcome, friends. I'm Fred. Here we talk about investments, business, real life, and training, all from my personal perspective. And today, question is about real life. Looking back, I honestly think I didn't want to see much of anything. Men and women function very differently. That's just reality. And over the years, I slowly learned how to navigate that difference. But today, I want to talk about something that goes completely against what I see all over YouTube right now. Because we are living in a moment of male victimhood. And honestly, it's strange. You see more and more content pushing the idea that men are victims of women, of relationships, of society, movements telling men to go their own way, to disconnect, to harden themselves emotionally, to treat relationships like traps. And what's funny, it's the contradiction. You will see a guy start a video saying something like, I'm not against marriage, I'm not against relationships. And then he spends the entire video attacking marriage, relationships, and women. It's like saying, I'm not against fire, I'm just think fire ruins everything. That contradiction matters because when you place yourself in the position of a victim, it becomes almost impossible to build anything meaningful in your life. The energy of a victim does not match the energy of a builder. If you believe women are dangerous, manipulative, and always trying to destroy you, how do you move forward? How do you build a family? How do you build trust? How do you build yourself? You can't. Victimhood and construction do not coexist. Yes, relationships can fail. Yes, people get hurt. Yes, men and women can act badly. That's life. But turning that reality in an ideology of resentment is not wisdom. It's paralysis. What I personally believe is this. When a relationship ends, the healthiest perspective is gratitude. Gratitude for what was good, for what you learned, for the time you shared, not bitterness, not resentment, not a narrative where you are always the innocent one and the other person is always the villain. Because that narrative poisons you. I am 46 years old. I've had relationships throughout my life. And every woman who passed through my life helped shape who I am today. Some relationships lasted longer, some shorter. Some were easier, some more difficult. Of course, when a relationship is ending, there is stress, there is pain, there are conflicts. That's normal. But after time passes, what remains is not anger, it's perspective. You start to see your own mistakes. You will start to see your immaturity. You will start to see that many of the problems were not about good versus evil. They were about timing, communication, growth, and difference. And here is something important. When you look back without resentment, you gain strength. When you look back with bitterness, you stay trapped. What really worries me today is how many channels profit from male resentment and how large their audiences is. Because there is a deep contradiction in the message. They say, follow your own path, build your life, become strong. But at the same time, they spend all their energy attacking women, relationships, and society. You cannot follow your own path while obsessing over other people. That's not independence. That's fixation. And there's another dangerous consequence. When you convince men that women are enemies, you create fear. Fear of connection, fear of helping, fear of basic human interaction. I've seen content where men are told not to help women in public, not even to help someone stand up if they fall, because it might be a trap. You might be accused, you might be recorded. Let's be serious for a moment. What kind of masculinity is that? Masculinity that is afraid of human decency is not strength, it's insecurity. Being a man is not about isolating yourself. It's not about becoming cold. It's not about seeing half of humanity as a threat. Real masculinity is calm, grounded, and responsible. Yes, there are bad people. Yes, there are manipulative individuals. Yes, both men and women can be toxic. But that's why you develop judgment, not paranoia. The solution is not fear. The solution is discernment. Use your common sense. Observe patterns. Leave situations that doesn't feel right. You don't need a global conspiracy theory to do that. Another thing that needs to be said clearly. Life is hard for everyone, for men and women. If I'm being honest in many ways, life is physically harder for women. Men have physical advantages, strength size, resilience that matters in the real world. So, instead of creating ideological wars, what actually makes sense is cooperation. Men helping women, women helping men. Each person taking responsibility for their own choices. Not blaming, not victimizing, not demonizing. When you look at relationships through this lens, something changes. You stop asking, who hurt me? You will start asking, what didn't I want to see? Maybe you ignored red flags. Maybe you avoided hard conversations. Maybe you stayed too long. You left too early. Maybe you expected the other person to fill gaps you should have filled yourself. That's growth. And growth is uncomfortable. It's much easier to say, they are the problem. But that doesn't move your life forward. One of the biggest mistakes I see today is men mistaking bitterness for awareness. Being aware does not mean being angry. Being strong does not mean being resentful. Being independent does not mean being disconnected. You can build your life, pursue your goals, train your body, strengthen your mind, and still be open, respectful, and grateful for relationships. Those things are not opposites. They reinforce each other. So I'll leave you with this question again. What did you want to see in your relationships? Not to judge yourself, not to punish yourself, but to understand yourself better. The goal is to become wiser without becoming bitter. Share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for being here, my friends, and I'll see you in the next video.